You have often been a petitioner in the Supreme Court before on issues that matter to you. What was it about Bilkis that moved you to actually turn petitioner? You could have issued statements, you could have condemned the release of these 11 men who raped Bilkis Bano and killed her child. What made you go to court?
I felt that when Bilkis said that, is this how justice is supposed to end? Something in that statement just hit me very hard. And I said, this is a woman against whom the most horrific of crimes has been perpetrated, to have watched your own child die, to have been gang raped, to have members of your family killed. And Bilkis was very brave. What stands out in this crime is not just the horrificness of the crime, but also the bravery of the victim. She, went to court. She fought a battle for, 17 years, 2002. She finally got compensation in 2019. She fought that. Finally, her life was getting some semblance of normalcy where her children are in college, in school, and, they're settled. And then all of a sudden, she's got to deal with these men who are out in the minimum possible time after the most horrific of crimes. She's in hiding again. She feels the pain of everything. And I just felt that this can't be her fight alone to fight. We can't be nickeling and diming about locus and whether she alone can file a review, all of that. I understand the legal technicalities, but there has to be something where we can tangibly stand up and say, this is wrong, this is why it's wrong, and give the court a chance to sort of relook at it.
We'll get to the court in just a moment, but I was a young reporter when I met Bilkis in a relief camp, and I'm haunted by the memory of her in her arm in a white plaster because the rapist had broken her arm. And she had this blankness on her face, like something in her had died. And her husband, Yaqub, told me that she's not been speaking ever since these men were released. And he said to me one thing that really stayed with me. He said, Abhi to dobara jeena shuru kiya tha. Finally, dobara jeena shuru kiya tha. Yes, I saw that. Yes. You said this is India's Bilkis moment in Indian Express. What do you mean by that?
I mean, this is a moment where we are all the injustice of it. You see, when natural justice, law and legal framework and all of that are fine. For average people, don't get technicalities. But when something is so blatantly feels wrong, when you know that this is intrinsically wrong, the sight of these horrific criminals being out in the minimum possible time and being felicitated and normalized, the sight of that, I think, was a slap in the face to all of us. It was a kick in the gut. And, that's when I said, this is our Bilkis moment. We have to fight back. She's not alone. This crime, rape, murder are impact crimes. They don't just affect the person. They affect communities. They affect society. So I think this, for Indian justice, is affected all of us. So this is our Bilkis moment. We have to fight back.
One of the men on the panel, 11 of them, that recommended the release of these rape convicts and child murderers, told us at Mojo Story that ये तो अच्छे आदमी हैं, जेल में बड़ा अच्छा इनका behavior था, संस्कारी हैं, Brahmin हैं, and he said it with a kind of friendly normalcy. And I was actually chilled with how normal it was for him to think that way. And I don't even know that it has anything to do with the fact that he's in the BJP, because he was in the Congress till a few years ago. What leapt out at me was this is actually how people think.
That's what the scary part is. I think criminal law in India, till about a few years ago, on our version of criminal law, used to be sacred in that when you're applying criminal law or looking at criminals, we didn't really look at their sex or religion or gender, all of that. A criminal was a criminal. But I think in the last 10 years, especially since this government is in place, there is this siloing, I would say, of crimes depending on who's done it. Right? So you look at a face and I'll tell you, you tell me his name or you tell me his face and I'll tell you where in the moral spectrum does his crime lie. And that's what's happened. And that is it's a very good thing I feel that he said it. Because for one man who said it, there are millions and millions of Indians who feel like that. So, and we are living in this cuckoo land. We are living in this cuckoo land where we think India is standing up for democracy and India believes in the constitution. No, it doesn't. A very large number of Indians today, unfortunately, feel like this MLA, who feel it's okay because they're Brahmins and they're sanskari and they're good behavior, that it's okay to be gallant.
And they've done their time.
And they've done their time. And what another thing that struck you, that interview, I saw that, is he said, we're not even sure that they were crying kiya and maybe there were bad intentions behind putting them away. For a man on a remission panel, the first thing you have to do when you're on a remission panel is that you're looking at criminals. These are convicts. Their guilt is not up for a question anymore. They have been convicted. You can't be looking at remission for innocent people. So, I mean, the irony of that. And that is something I brought out in my petition. The fact that if you look at the bias, if you look at how skewed this panel was, this has not been done on a case-by-case basis.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.